In the winter of 1959, in the remote Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, 9 experienced hikers set out on an expedition. They were young, skilled, and full of life. They never returned. What happened on that frozen mountainside has become one of the most chilling and enduring mysteries of the 20th century. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident. Our story begins with Igor Dyatlov, the 23-year-old leader of the group. He assembled a team of 8 men and 2 women, all students or graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, for a challenging ski trek to a Torten mountain. This was a Category 3 expedition, the highest difficulty rating. These were not amateurs. They were seasoned professionals who knew the unforgiving nature of the Siberian wilderness. On January 27th, one member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill and was forced to turn back. This was a decision that would save his life and leave him haunted for decades. The remaining 9 continued, promising to send a telegram by February 12th. When that day came and went with no word, a search operation was launched. What the rescuers found was a scene of utter horror and baffling confusion. On the slopes of a mountain, ominously named Kholat Syakhl, or Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language, they discovered the hiker's tent. It was half buried in snow and, bizarrely, had been sliced open from the inside. The group's belongings, warm clothes, shoes, supplies, even their money were all left behind. It was as if something had terrified them so completely that they de-ripped their way out into the deadly sub-zero temperatures, woefully unprepared. Footprints led away from the tent, down the slope towards a nearby forest. The prints showed that some were barefoot, others wearing only socks or a single boot. It was a frantic, desperate escape into a frozen wasteland where temperatures could plummet to minus. The first 2 bodies, Yuri Krivonoshenko and Yuri Doroshenko, were found under a large pine tree about a mile from the tent. They were stripped down to their underwear. The remains of a small fire were nearby, and the branches of the pine tree were broken up to 5 meters high, suggesting someone had tried to climb it, perhaps to get a better view or escape from something. 3 more bodies, including Igor Dyatlov himself, were discovered between the pine tree and the abandoned tent. Their positions suggested they were trying to crawl back to the relative safety of their shelter, but succumbed to hypothermia along the way. But the mystery only deepened. For 2 long months, the search for the remaining 4 hikers continued. Finally, they were found in a ravine, buried under more than 4 meters of snow, not far from the pine tree. And this is where the story takes its darkest turn. Ludina Dubinina had massive chest fractures, so powerful they were compared to the force of a car crash. Semyon Zolotaryov had similar crushing chest injuries and was missing his eyes. Nikolai Thibault-Brignol had a fractured skull. Alexander Kolevatov was also found with them. And perhaps most gruesomely, Dubinina was missing her tongue. There were no external signs of a struggle, no soft tissue damage around the wounds. It was as if an immense, crushing force had simply squeezed them. The official Soviet investigation concluded that the hikers had died from a compelling natural force. The case was abruptly closed, and the files were classified. This vague and unsatisfying conclusion only fueled decades of speculation. What could have caused 9 experienced hikers to flee their tent in terror and meet such bizarre and violent ends? The theories range from the plausible to the paranormal. The first, and for a long time the most accepted, is an avalanche. The internal injuries could have been caused by the immense pressure of the snow. However, this theory has major problems. The investigators at the time found no evidence of an avalanche. The tent wasn't completely flattened, and ski poles left standing nearby were undisturbed. In 2021, a new study suggested a specific type of delayed, small slab avalanche could be the culprit, but many experts remain unconvinced. Then there's the military weapons testing theory. The area was known for Soviet military activity. Could the hikers have accidentally stumbled upon a secret test of a concussion bomb or a similar weapon? This could explain the powerful internal injuries without external marks and the sudden panic. Some reports mention strange lights or orange spheres seen in the sky around that time, lending credence to this idea. While the levels were low, it's another strange piece of the puzzle. The Soviet government's secrecy and quick closure of the case certainly make this an attractive theory. Another natural explanation proposed is infrasound. This is sound at a frequency so low humans can't hear it, but it can cause feelings of intense anxiety, dread, and panic. Certain wind conditions, like wind moving over the specific topography of the mountain, a phenomenon known as Akra Man Vortex Street, could theoretically generate infrasound. Could a sudden burst of this silent sound have driven the hikers mad with irrational fear, causing them to flee their tent? It's a fascinating idea, but it doesn't explain the brutal physical injuries. And of course, we have the more fringe theories. Some believe the hikers were attacked by an unknown creature, a Russian Yeti or mink. The Mansi people have legends of wild men in these mountains. This might explain the terror and the violent injuries, even the missing tongue. But there were no animal tracks found, only the hikers' own footprints. Others point to UFOs and alien encounters, citing the strange lights in the sky. This theory often connects the missing eyes and tongue to some sort of extraterrestrial examination, but it remains purely speculative. So, where does that leave us? Let's try to piece together a plausible timeline. The hikers set up their tent on the exposed slope, possibly a mistake in judgment. It's so sudden and frightening that they cut their way out of the tent, not even stopping for shoes or coats. They run downhill to the cover of the forest. There, they make a fire, but it's not enough. 2 of them die of hypothermia. 1 tries to climb the tree for a look back at the camp. 3 others, including Dyatlov, decide to risk a return to the tent for supplies, but freeze to death on the way. It's here that they suffer their horrific, crushing injuries, followed by poor visibility, leading to the group getting lost and freezing. But they admit it. This doesn't fully explain the severe injuries on the last 4 bodies. Scavengers or natural decomposition in water are possible explanations, but it's still an unsettling detail. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a perfect mystery. Every piece of evidence seems to contradict another. Every theory has a fatal flaw. The hiker's own diary, found in a tent, gives no clue of any impending danger. The last entry describes them in good spirits, even producing a humorous group newspaper called the Evening Otorten. They were a team of friends, competent and prepared, who walked into a nightmare. What was the compelling natural force that the Soviets spoke of? Is it an avalanche, a secret weapon, a freak weather event, or something far stranger? After more than 60 years, the silent, frozen slopes of Dead Mountain are still keeping their secret. The story of the 9 hikers remains a chilling reminder that some questions may never be answered. What do you think happened on that mountain? Was it a tragic combination of natural events, or is there a darker explanation we're missing? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy diving into history's greatest unsolved mysteries, be sure to subscribe for more.